You're probably used to science classes with associated laboratories, and this class has something similar. However, the difference is that the labs in Chemistry 1083 and 1093 are virtual labs, which means that you don't actually go to a laboratory to do this assignment, but you will be called upon to analyze data, reach conclusions, and synthesize new ideas that extend the concepts of the exercise. Our objective for these exercises include illustrating important course concepts, accessing reliable information online, developing a quantitative understanding of molecular systems, and synthesizing new information. Along the way, these exercises will also promote teamwork and collaboration. So how does this work? The labs are all assignments that are posted in Blackboard. You'll be assigned to a 4-person team, and the lab report that you turn in will reflect the collaborative work of the entire team. In some cases, your team may have only 3 members. One of the team members will be appointed to serve as team captain for the exercise, and the captain will take the lead in coordinating the efforts of the team. Each member of the team will have a chance to serve as team captain for one of the labs this term. Before the first lab exercise is posted, it's a good idea to learn who is on your team. Go to the course site in Blackboard and look in the left margin of the site. You should find a heading marked My Groups, and when you click on it, at the top of the drop-down list, you will see the various tools that you can use to communicate and collaborate with your teammates. These are all tools provided within Blackboard, but you shouldn't feel constrained to use only these tools if you're more comfortable sharing documents with Google Docs, for example, or communicating using GroupMe. If you click on the group homepage, you can see who else is assigned to be on your team. Once the first lab is posted, your team captain will be charged with initiating the communications for the group. But if you don't hear from the captain within a few days of the posting of the assignment, you should send an email out to the group to get things started. Don't wait too long, because some of the labs will take a while to figure out and execute. To access the assignment, you'll first need to click on the Virtual Labs header in the left margin. You'll then open the folder that contains the Virtual Lab assignment. Each has a distinctive logo related to the subject of the exercise. When you open the lab exercise folder, you should see several items contained within it. If you are the team captain, you should also see a link to the team captain assignment at the top of these items. Pay particular attention to the general instructions and the items in red that describe actions you will need to take to complete the assignment. The first item is the description of the assignment. The lesson or file describes the exercise, provides detailed instructions, and gives an overview with background information to acquaint you with all that you will need to know. This is where you should start, and it is important to read through this file as soon as possible and as thoroughly as possible after the exercise has been posted. When you open the instructions and background information, the first page you will see is the lab overview page. Each lab will include a short video introducing you to the key concepts of the laboratory and giving you a broader picture about the core principles involved. Following the video will be a detailed set of instructions and a fun scenario that puts the exercise into a real-life context. The remainder of the background section will review course material and also provide some new material that builds upon core concepts. It's important to read this part carefully so that you'll understand what is needed to successfully complete the lab. About 2/3 of the way through the background and instructions, you should find a page titled Analysis Procedure. This marks the place where you can find a detailed description of the steps you should take to fill out your report. There's also a page that outlines 4 team member roles, and you will take on responsibility for one of those roles as you work on the exercise. Once you are familiar with the assignment, you should take the pre-lab quiz, which is the second item in the lab folder. You will need to achieve a perfect score of 15 in order to gain access to the lab review quiz that follows your team's submission of the lab report. Essentially, this works the same way as the lesson quizzes, and you can attempt this quiz as many times as necessary. The third item in the folder is a downloadable Word file containing your lab report worksheet and the data that you will be analyzing in this exercise. When you and your teammates have completed your work on the lab report worksheet, each of you should check the work of the others. Each team will only submit one copy of the lab report worksheet, so you'll want to be sure that it represents everyone's best work. The team captain should be the one to submit the final lab report unless he or she chooses to delegate that task to another team member. The report should be uploaded and submitted through the lab assignment item number 4, which is just below the lab report worksheet in the folder. You may submit this assignment more than once, but only the last submission will be graded, and the earlier ones will be discarded. When the report has been submitted, you will have 24 hours to attempt the lab review quiz worth 35 points, which is the 5th item in the folder. If you have not achieved a perfect score of 15 points on the pre-lab quiz, the lab review quiz will not be visible in your folder. This timed 30-minute quiz includes 4 questions related to the lab exercise and should be reasonably straightforward to all who have worked on the various parts of the exercise. There are also 3 short essay questions that invite you to reflect on different aspects of the assignment. You'll receive full credit on these essay questions if your response is thoughtful and addresses the writing prompt. These don't need to be long answers. 2 to 3 sentences will probably suffice, but you may write as much as you feel is needed. The last item you'll find in the folder is a link to a discussion forum on the course discussion board. You can post any questions of general interest there related to the lab exercise, and I will provide a response. If you do not wish to post your question publicly, you can also send me an email. Altogether, there are 4 of these team exercises, and they're a great way to see how the topics covered in the course relate to real scientific problems. As always, I urge you to ask questions about these assignments if anything at all is unclear.